Lamar something who got locked up in China and A$AP Rocky who got locked up in Sweden. He told these two stories, and same with Alice Johnson, and the theme was black people that weren't grateful for his support. Like, that was the theme of the stories. So he told this story about A$AP Rocky first. A$AP Rocky was stalked by a Muslim gang, and they brandished weapons or something, and he got in a big brawl with them, and they threw him in jail. And that was the gist of it. And so Trump talked about how he called the embassy and said, you need to release A$AP Rocky right now. And they said, no, we can't do that. And then Trump, he was very cordial the whole dinner. This is like the ex-president. He starts dropping F-bombs like every sentence. He goes, this is him telling the story. He goes, you motherfucker, I'll fucking tell you this. And the whole story was like this. The whole story was F this, F that, you fucker this, I'll fucking do this. And we were like, whoa, like this is the ex-president. And the whole dinner was not like that. He was very, I mean, he swore a little bit, but
he thought you were ambushing him. So
yeah,
that's why
so he was like,
how...
so yeah, one, he was pissed. Two, this was also, Trump is like a primal, he's very much in tune to like the body language, and like he's a real power player, you know? And when you get into these powerful types, they play these mind games and they do these like nonverbal ways of communicating things. So one, he was angry and like lost his cool. Two, he also wanted to send a message. So he was very aggressive about that. And the moral of that story, as he told it, was A$AP Rocky wasn't grateful. He said, and if he knew that A$AP Rocky wouldn't be appreciative and thank him for it, he never would have let him out of jail. And he told the same story about the basketball player in China. And he said how the Chinese were very respectful, and one part of the story, which was outrageous, he talked about how he was actually out there for the Chinese. It was like some anniversary of their revolution. And so it was a big state visit for Trump to go visit the Chinese president while this little drama was playing out. And he said that when Trump arranged for the release of the basketball player, the Chinese would not allow the basketball player to go home at the same time as Trump. Trump leaves this big state visit. They hold this guy a little longer. And this is part of the story. He said that when the Chinese released this guy to go on his plane to go back to America, it was this row of Chinese officials, and one of them came out from the line and slapped the basketball player across his face and said, you disrespected the American president. How dare you? And that was before they sent him home. And Trump talked about how not only was the basketball player, but the father of the basketball player was also ungrateful. And they thanked everybody other than Trump. And Trump said, if I knew then what I know now, that he wouldn't be grateful, I would have let him rot in jail for 10 years. Now, at the time, I was just sort of like, oh, he's just telling these stories. These are just really great stories. You know, I'm like, oh, that's cool. You know,
that's like a white person thing. We always assume the best.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, okay.
He's not bad. He's not actually bad.
I'm like, oh, okay, this is great. But in retrospect, like, there was a very, very obvious theme, which was these are three black people, Alice Johnson, the basketball player, A$AP Rocky, who Trump did something for them and they weren't grateful. And because they weren't grateful, he hated them and would have never helped them, and they were his enemy. And also there was something in there a little bit about like humiliation, you know, like having the Chinese guy. I don't actually think that happened. Like, I don't think the Chinese guy, maybe he did, but that to me just sounded like one of those negotiation, like verbal emasculation type tricks. Like, here's a black guy getting slapped across the face by a short Chinese guy. And so it's very clear he was not happy.